and welcome to the Don Robbie Show. We're here on the weekend roundup, and I'm joined, of course, by none other than the beautiful Pippa Monique.
This is again, I said this last week. It's the one moment of the show I'm going to smile. Because when we start talking about football, it all comes crashing back down.
Yeah, but we'll start off nicely.
Okay.
Because we're going to talk about the Ultimate Fantasy app.
Okay, let's do that.
For anyone who doesn't know, the Ultimate Fantasy app is a fantasy football app with a twist. You get up to 6 players that you get from a pack when you open it up, and it's completely random. So you get different teams, you get different players. Pippa has and kits. You're right, and kits. Pippa's had loads from Spurs apparently.
You don't know who I've got.
Well, just what you told me before. If you subscribe, you can get up to £5. You can get gold packs back and win cash prizes every single week. Pippa, tell me your team, please.
Oh no, do I have to?
You do. I'm going to tell you mine after as well.
Right, let me just open it up because I'm not exactly excited about. Like pack openers are supposed to be excited, right? And then I saw mine and was just like, what is this? So I've got actually some decent ones. I've got Ben Godfrey.
Okay.
Then it gets ruined because if you've noticed, I've also got Reguilon.
Ooh!
No, darling, we don't cheer for that. I've got a Brentford player, Janssen. I've got Curtis Jones, Jared Bowen, a Brentford kit, I believe.
They're loving the Brentford, aren't they? They're just trolling.
I know, they're just trolling hard. Ndombele.
Wow.
Trossard, Williams, Goodmanson. Yeah, man, I got trolled hard. Spurs players, a Brentford kit.
Who was your gold?
Who was my gold, actually? I think it was Ben Godfrey. Yeah, Ben Godfrey.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so in comparison, my gold one was Kai Havertz.
It's not bad. I'm getting trolled again.
I've got Willy Bolly, Adam Webster, Decore, Will Hughes, Naby Keita, Kouyaté, Adama Traore, Chris Wood. My team was Tottenham, and I swear it wasn't rigged.
Really?
Phil Barsley and Shane Duffy, and Shaw Tyre as well.
Well, you've won here, mate. You've got your team, and you've got some beef in there. Decore, Traore.
I had a good pack. But I didn't control the pack.
Yeah, but at least you got some good ones. No, you never know with a pack opening what you're going to get.
You are right.
I just got ruined.
Anyone else who wants to play Ultimate Fan, the link is in the description. So make sure you head over to that and check it out, and you can play along with us.
Yes.
But let's really get into what we want to talk about.
Who wants to talk about it? Not me.
Let's talk about the game of the weekend, of course, which was none other than Arsenal versus Chelsea.
That was the game of the weekend?
It was the game of the weekend, for me anyway. Just a reminder of that scoreline. That was Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2. You were there.
I was there.
Let's talk about it.
Do you know what? I had such an amazing day, honestly. Yeah. Like the atmosphere, walking up to the stadium, bumping into players, I bumped into Aubameyang's brother. It was just such a good vibe.
The atmosphere sounded amazing.
It was lit. I sat in my seat, everyone was cheering, everyone was on good vibes.
And then you kicked off.
And then 10 minutes later, Lukaku scored. And I just thought to myself, this could be an absolute ruining because he just looked so up for it. Of course, back to Chelsea, back to Premier League.
You did get off to an okay start.
Yeah, for the first 7 to 8 minutes.
That's a positive.
7 to 8 minutes.
Okay,
you don't win points for that.
You don't win
We
points.
still got 0 points and 0 goals.
But you didn't really expect that much against Chelsea.
No, if I'm honest with you, I didn't expect much. And then the ultimate positivity of mine was, okay, maybe we can get 1-1, maybe a draw.
Yeah.
Or 2-1. Like if we lost 2-1 to Chelsea, I wouldn't be so upset.
Yeah.
But the fact we still haven't scored a goal burns me.
It is a little bit worrying, but you have had defensive problems as well. Ben White, again, missing with COVID.
Yeah.
Aubameyang was back on the bench, came on, but again, didn't really...
At least he had a shot on target.
There we go.
No, I don't think anyone else did.
That's another positive.
Actually, Rob Holding kind of. It went over the bar, but...
it went over the bar. You touched on Lukaku. I mean, he's back, proven his worth already. I mean, he literally pushed Pablo Mari out the way like he was air.
I felt so... There was moments in the game that are easily going to be forgotten about because there were moments where Pablo did everything to stop him from turning.
Yeah.
Because we know like Lukaku loves to play with his back towards the goal and once he's turned, he's gone.
Yeah.
And obviously Mari knew that because he was stopping him from turning. He even clamped him at one point, took the yellow card, said, forget this. But then there were other moments when Lukaku said, do you not know who I am?
And he literally
Look who's back.
He literally just brushed him out of the way. And then, of course, that was 1-0.
Yeah.
Aside from that, Reece James, I thought had a fantastic...
he really did.
Fantastic game. Literally ran you guys ragged.
Yeah. And got the goal as well. And what a goal. What a finish.
What a finish.
That one burnt me even more.
It was pretty good.
It's okay, you expect your strikers to score goals, you expect Lukaku to score goals, but when they've got defenders scoring goals...
Just for banter.
It's embarrassing for us.
Banter. But Chelsea have got massive strength and depth. And of course the thing is that when you look at... I know you guys have spent the most in the transfer window on various different players, but Chelsea, are champions of Europe. you can't really compare the two, I think, where Arsenal are and where Chelsea are. And you look at their bench, you know, they had Ziyech on the bench. They didn't even have Pulisic in the squad. Kante, Hudson-Odoi. There was so many. That were on the bench, which was so good, and they had so much strength and depth in all areas. Do you feel that's something that Arsenal lack?
We lack a lot of things. The list can go. I can list more things that we lack than what Chelsea have on the bench. Do you understand? Like, it's a big problem. And if I'm honest with you, just naming those players they have on the bench, I said it before on AFTV. I'm surprised it was only 2-0.
Yeah.
I was expecting a lot more from Chelsea.
I don't think you were that bad. I'm being serious. I don't think you were that bad.
In terms of?
In terms of the fact that it was only 2-0, I did predict it would be 2-0.
Yeah, we kept a clean sheet in second half.
There we go, another positive. Do you think that Chelsea side is or has enough for the title?
Oh, definitely.
You think so?
Yeah. I know it's still early days, but they've got a really good squad. They get goals from different areas as well. And they defend really well, because there was, I say, 2 goal-scoring moments for Arsenal, just 2 that I remember.
Yeah.
And Emile Smith-Rowe having a chance, and that was defended so quickly.
Was that by Aspi?
Aspi, and I think Rudiger got involved as well.
Yeah.
Like, they both just closed that off. And there was another chance I can't remember really, to be fair. But their defence is so on point, and they get goals from all over the pitch. So title contenders definitely, and they've got a really strong squad. And I noticed before the game when they were doing their warm-ups, and someone else mentioned this as well, that Chelsea have like a trainer for every player. I don't know if you saw this on TV.
Well, I was driving.
There were so many people
I was on my way
pitch.
home from here onto the first half, so I only got back literally for the second half.
There was so many people on the pitch in the warm-up on that Chelsea side.
Yeah.
And then someone was saying to me they've got a coach for every player.
I mean,
which is mad.
Look, if you put in the time and the training, there we go. Most clubs should have that. I'd like that at Spurs. We could do with it as well. Penalty on Saka. Do you think it was a penalty?
I actually haven't watched the game back, so I can only go on from what I saw when I was there. Of course, I was like, ref! Do you know what I mean? I've seen him go down in the box. I'm going to say it's a penalty, but I haven't actually watched it back properly, because I definitely didn't want to watch Match of the Day.
I think it was one of those that maybe last season it could have been given, but I think there being so much... They're trying to let the game flow more, aren't they, now? And I think that unless it's 100% sure, or you can kind of see it on VAR, it looked a bit like a tangle, but for me it wasn't a pen.
It's funny you say that, because literally my initial reaction, judging from last season as well, was to look to the screen to say VAR decision, and there was nothing, and then the game just went back on. I was like, okay.
But that's a good thing, because we're not relying on VAR, and we are letting the game flow, and those things, you know,
happen quickly.
Unless it's something that's a massive decision and a massive talking point, there and then in the game, you probably will forget about it. And it doesn't mean that we're talking about VAR all the time. Do you think it's worrying, though, for what's going on with Arsenal and Arteta? Because, of course, you've got Manchester City up next. There's a very likely chance, you know, Arsenal could get battered in that game at the Etihad.
Don't choose your words. You don't mince your words, do you?
I said there's a chance. There's a small chance that it could happen. I assume Ben White would be back for that game.
He's actually not.
He's not.
It's already been rumoured or stated that he might not be available for that game, from what I saw this morning anyway.
Lacazette should be back?
Don't think so either. I hope so, though.
I mean,
he was at the game yesterday. I saw him leave.
Okay, so that's potential. Of course, you've got West Brom during the week as well in the cup. Odegaard.
Yeah, he should be starting.
Gabriel.
I should hope so. I saw him yesterday leave the ground, so hopefully.
Okay, and then Thomas Partey. How far are we with the
I think
injury?
it's another 2. Don't quote me on this, but I don't think he's ready yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there might be some positivity and some positive changes with the incomings back into the squad. Let's put City to one side, because then after that you've got Norwich, and then it's international break before you take on Burnley. Do you think it's a case that if you don't get a result against Norwich and Burnley before the North London derby at the end of September, do you think he will be gone before that North London derby, or you think they'll stay with him?
From a fan's perspective, I think a big majority of fans would expect him to be gone.
Okay.
But the fact that he's been backed so much by the board, I don't think Arteta
spent a lot of money.
Yeah, I could be completely wrong here, but I've got this feeling that the board are not willing to sack him anytime soon, regardless. Let's say at the end of the season, Arsenal finish 10th.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be sacked if he's still the manager, because they've got this process and
a project.
It's a project, and the project is not now. It's something that happens over time, and they believe in that project so much that they believe that Arteta's the man to take Arsenal there. This is what it seems, though. That's what it seems. So it seems as though no matter where Arsenal finish, and if we lack results before the North London derby, like you said, he's not going to get sacked, which is crazy to me.
It would be crazy because
it's insane.
You know, keeping the North London derby out of it actually for a second. Let's say that you get you draw against Norwich,
Yeah.
hypothetically, and let's say you draw against Burnley, that's your first 5
2
games,
points. Oh, yeah,
and you'd
we'll
have
get
2 points.
yeah.
Is that, obviously as a fan, I know how you feel about Arteta
You would want
as well,
anyone
but-
would want their manager gone. They would want
the
everything
first,
changed.
the first 5 games, but
Yeah.
then would the argument not be, okay, well, we've faced, we've faced City, and we've played
forget that. We've
Chelsea
beaten
in
City
that.
before. We've beaten Chelsea before. We shouldn't think, because they're doing well now and they're in a different league to us and got better squads or whatnot, that we shouldn't expect to get a result. It shouldn't be clean sheets and straight losses.
No, I totally
It should be
agree.
a challenging result.
I think it will be very interesting to see what happens. But look, you might not get battered.
Yeah.
We have seen stranger things happen at the end of the day. Moving on to Wolves versus Spurs. The scoreline was Wolves 0, Spurs 1. Dele Alli penalty.
Yeah.
Emerging from the shadows is Dele Alli all of a sudden,
Proud
which is
of him.
great. Look, I'm really, really happy for him because from my perspective, I think that, we saw him kind of go out of favour a little bit under Pochettino. He was losing his confidence, and then under Jose, we had a tiny resurgence, and then it all just came crashing down, and he was well out in the cold. And I think it's nice to have someone like Nuno who comes in, man manager, puts his arm around it, and you can see Dele's actually working really hard for the team. And lots of people still say, well, he doesn't do much. Well, he won the penalty yesterday, he scored the penalty, and again, he ran his socks off. So I think from a Spurs perspective, that's what you want to be seeing. You want to see a player in your side putting in that maximum effort, which is great. Would you be happy to see
Not biased at all.
on a non-biased I am biased on a non-biased thing, would you be happy to see a resurgence of Dele Alli in terms of like England? Could you see him making it back into there one day?
No comment. I have no care whatsoever about non-biased. Yeah, he is a player that's quickly forgotten about, if I'm honest with you. There was a moment where everyone there wasn't a rave about him, but he was a young player that was an exciting prospect.
Yeah.
Especially for the England team, and he's kind of just gone off the radar, along with some other players of that era, which was only a few years ago, like the Oxlades.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
the forgotten men.
I don't know if they're going to be a resurgence because there's too much young talent in the England squad
and there
now.
is so much talent.
Yeah.
So much talent.
I don't see a rise of the Phoenix for Dele Alli, but he's doing well for Tottenham.
He's doing well so far.
Yeah.
Wolves, on the other hand, have completely lacked a cutting edge. I mean, that's 42 shots in 2 games.
Yeah.
Yesterday they had 26 shots against Spurs. They absolutely battered them in front of goal. But with no end product, no goals to show for it.
The thing that worried me the most is when I saw Traore 1-on-1 with Lloris. I was thinking that's got to go in. Surely you expect him to put that away.
But he's had a lot of those chances, in the last season.
He's the player you're normally scared about, and he hasn't looked scary at all recently.
There's just no end product. But it could be the case that once he gets one,
then he's off.
It breaks whatever deadlock is going on mentally, and then it goes from there. Because he always was a threat, but there's just no goal threat at all.
Even Fabio Silva, there was a chance of the ball cut back to him, and he just went straight past him. Like, come on, you should be putting this away.
The thing is, obviously, Raul Jimenez is back, which is fantastic.
Yeah, he had a chance as well.
And they rely on Neto too. But with Raul Jimenez, they can't put too much pressure because no one really expects him to probably come back and be
this
playing.
soon.
It's a little bit too soon. So who do Wolves look to?
Fabio Silva, I know he's young, but he can put away goals.
Yeah.
Neto as well was one of their underrated players last season.
Yeah.
So these players can produce. I just don't know what's happening. Maybe it's the Nuno effect. It was weird for me seeing him back at the Molineux, and he wasn't. I was like,
it was weird, but I think I think he got good reception, good reception, which is great. That is the only worry for Wolves. Obviously, they are creating the opportunities. They are playing, attacking football, good football, but just no goals at the end of it. Harry Kane returned.
I was surprised to see. Was you happy about that?
I feel a bit indifferent about it.
Okay.
I was happy to see that when called upon, he came on.
Yeah.
And whatever, like he's still getting paid by Spurs to do. I'm still not convinced that he's going.
You think he's staying?
I think he's staying.
The fact that Daniel Levy was there.
Yeah.
And just watching
everything.
It's like he's saying you are not going anywhere.
For me, I think that there's 8 days left of the window. Spurs made it very clear since that only bid, which was in June, saying that it's 150, there's talks of 160 million being asked. And there's been nothing from Manchester City. So from my perspective, it's kind of like, well, if you're going to do it, then do it. Because all anyone's spoken about on any channel this whole window is about Harry Kane, and it's actually really boring me now. It is. It's just so boring.
It's like, get this transfer window over and done with.
Just get it over and done with. Like, if you want the guy, either pay the money. We know you've got the money. You went and spent 100 million on Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
You've got the money. So either pay for Harry Kane or just say, do you know what, actually, you're out of our price range and let's just move on. Obviously, you could say it's been a distraction for Spurs, but they have won their first 2 games. So if anything, it may have created more of a togetherness with the rest of the squad, which is, a good thing. And I'm happy that he did come on and, he looked all right.
Had a shot as well.
Yeah, had a shot, held the ball up well and did the job that was there to do. But I just can't see him going, because also if Spurs let him go now, they've got no time to get in their replacements. And
That's very true.
I think it'd be detrimental to Spurs. So,
but like you said, they've got 2 results pretty much without him. I know he came on.
They have, but obviously when you look, throughout a whole season, I think that if you cave in and you get rid of Harry Kane, a few days before the window shuts, you can't bring in the level of quality that you would need. And it's not one player that you need. If to get rid of Harry Kane, it's 2 minimum, with both quality and proven quality. And I just don't think it would be a good idea to leave Spurs in that situation, or Nuno either. When he's just taken that on. But he did get an okay reception. Apparently.
He did.
Wolves fans were chanting towards Kane, saying he'll be in Mank in the morning.
Did they? I didn't hear that.
Apparently there was a bit of banter, and I think maybe that's why Spurs fans were singing he's one of our own.
Okay.
And going back and forth. But we love to see fans back, don't we?
Yeah, we love to hear it.
We love that. Even your atmosphere was good yesterday.
Honestly.
No?
Chelsea fans were so much louder than Arsenal fans. Because obviously there was a dip when we...
Yeah.
And then we just went quiet.
You had a good opening 7-8 minutes, like we said. We'll move on. Southampton versus Manchester United. We covered that game yesterday on the Don Robbie show. Southampton look good. They look good.
I feel like it's always a test for United when they go to St Mary's. Yeah. I've actually been to a Southampton United game at St Mary's Stadium, and it's more time ends in a draw.
But they've got a good record though, United there. Southampton, I think it was yesterday they were saying on Sky that they've only... beaten them in 2003, and it was at the Dell.
But they do get draws against United. Which is
look,
Southampton.
United were not great yesterday.
I wasn't expecting that result though.
Neither was I.
With this squad and what they did on the opening week, I was not expecting that result.
So that just shows you that, I know it's very early doors, and we're saying they're in a title race, and people last week were saying, look at this squad, they have to be challenging. But it does show you that it's not set in stone just because you have all that talent. Yeah. And we did see Jadon Sancho come on. He was on the bench. Rafael Varane was on the bench as well. But Sancho came on, had half an hour, and I honestly didn't do much.
That's not even my main concern. Obviously, United fans will be more knowledgeable about this what I'm going to bring up. But I think it's a disrespect to Van der Beek to not be featured and to have McTominay, who I'm sure was just come back from injury.
Yeah, he came on. So I think it was they started Fred and Matic yesterday.
Right. I'm not even going to comment on Matic for United fans get onto me. But I feel like it's disrespect for Van der Beek. Then you had Lingard that was available and came on, who's just come back from COVID. How is Van der Beek not getting that feature?
I really like Donny Van der Beek, personally. And I remember seeing him against, when Spurs played against Ajax over those 2 legs. I thought he was really pivotal, a pivotal player for Ajax.
But why is he not fitting into that?
I thought, what a great signing for United, 40 million.
I can't even remember I don't recall seeing him.
I just think Ollie doesn't fancy him. But if I'm Van der Beek, I'm thinking, why am I wasting...
here? He doesn't deserve... Just put in a transfer request ASAP.
And get yourself gone. Get yourself gone, because if you're not going to...
He deserves more.
You're playing the cup games and things like that, but if you're not getting the minutes where he is creative, he can do something. And I think that they really lacked that, actually.
Over someone that... McTominay just come back from injury.
Precisely, and they lacked that
yesterday. Lingard, not to be funny.
And also, I think West Ham are still hoping they can get Lingard as well. That was the thing. Obviously, yesterday, it was... In the build-up to the goal, Bruno was furious, and so was Ollie that he didn't get the free kick. What was your view on it? Because I didn't think it was a free kick. I thought that it could have gone either way, and I didn't think there needed to be such a tantrum over it.
What was this decision? Did this go to VAR or not?
No, I didn't. It was a free kick, and then from that point, Southampton went and they scored they scored from it. But it wasn't a free kick, and they didn't give it. Great goal.
What's the goal? Che Adams, underrated.
I think Che Adams is a good little player, and I think that Southampton were great yesterday. But I think that it's a lot of tantruming and things like that. And if you just would have got on with it,
just play your game. Just play the game how you played against your first game of the season. It just wasn't the Man United that everyone expected. When I saw, because obviously I didn't get to see that whole game because I was getting ready to go to the Emirates. But when I glanced and saw it was 1-0 to Southampton,
shocked.
I was like, what? What's going on?
United had a good 15 minutes, I'd say, opening. They hit the bar and they had a few chances. Pogba looked quite lively. And then after that, it just was a bit sloppy, it was slow. And complete credit to Southampton. They should have honestly won the game. They really should have. Livramento, who they've just signed from Chelsea, 18 years old, he was fantastic. I think in 2 games, actually, I'm thinking of my team of the week and I haven't put him in, but he probably should have been in there. He was fantastic, and I think that,
Only 18?
Only 18, and tearing it up in the Prem already, 2 games into the new season, and people are already talking about him.
That's what you want.
That is what you want, especially with Southampton when they sell so many of their players. We were going through a list yesterday. We said in 30 seconds, let's name how many players.
At least 10 players in the last how many years?
We had 30.
Oh, wow.
We had 30 that we named in 30 seconds.
And most of them went to Liverpool.
Most of them went to Liverpool, or some to Spurs and here and there. But it was so many. And you just think to yourself, what could they actually have done if they wouldn't have sold their
Yeah,
players.
it's true. Southampton could have been top 6.
Yeah.
Maybe even higher.
But
you
the
never
thing
know.
is, again, so of course with United, we were all talking about how they could win the league. And again, this week, there's so many Ollie out and things like that. Do you think that's just going to be...
This week there was Ollie out?
There was lots of Ollie out in the chat yesterday.
Oh, in the chat?
In the chat.
Sometimes I don't go by the chat, no offence, but...
Of course.
It's not.
But do you think that it's even warranted?
No.
I don't.
Of course not. They've got a really good squad.
They have
2 games in, 4 points. I know, obviously, other teams, the Cities, the Chelseas, got their 6 points and they're raring. But they're still in with a solid chance, Man United.
Football is a fickle game.
It's very fickle. One minute they love you, next minute they hate you.
That's what it is. That's why we love it.
Yeah.
Manchester City 5, Norwich 0. Norwich have not been blessed with fixtures, have they?
Do you know, I was joking about this earlier, but I really think, obviously, they've had really tough fixtures. Was it Liverpool, City?
Liverpool and City.
Don't know who they've got next. Maybe it's Arsenal.
No.
They've got someone.
They've got, I don't know. We'll check that
But
out.
I know that whoever they're looking at those first few fixtures, and they look at Arsenal and think, that's the game we're going to pick up points.
I said it. I didn't say it.
No, I'm being genuine. They're thinking City, Liverpool,
They've still got a couple of weeks. They've still got a couple of weeks for that. Whoever they have got next, I'm not entirely sure. Put it in the chat, guys, whoever Norwich have got next. But it wasn't very fair, having, the former champions and the current champions as your first 2 fixtures. It's not an easy ride. Do you think it's worrying for Norwich, though? I mean, no goals from opening 2 games, but are we just being harsh because of the opponent?
No, the opponents are very difficult. They've just come back up into the Premier League. It's going to be hard to get any type of result against those 2 teams, but I don't think they should be worried. It's a long season.
Yeah.
They will pick up points against other big teams.
Yeah.
So
other big teams.
But City, like I said about Chelsea, they've got players that can score that are not necessarily strikers.
No, you're right.
You've got Diaz putting in balls over the top to...
It's an unfair test. It's an unfair test for a newly promoted team. But Jack Grealish got his first goal for Manchester City.
I mean, he didn't even mean to score it, but it's a goal.
It'll be the worst goal he ever scores for City. But do you know what?
It was the most heaviest touch ever. He didn't even expect it to go in, but it's happened. He's finally got his goal.
He's off the mark. And Gabriel Jesus also got a goal. The striker that no one ever talks about because they always say they don't have a striker. So that's a good confidence booster for them. So yeah, an easy game for City to get off the ground after that loss to Spurs.
Oh, sorry, I totally forgot that City lost to Spurs. Everyone's correcting me. They got 3 points.
There we
totally
go.
Forgot.
3
I'm
points
always writing off Spurs. That's why.
Good way for them to bounce back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They couldn't have asked for a better fixture.
But they're going to go into Norwich expecting a win.
Of course, absolutely. And I think that the 5-0 was kind of expected. We knew that it would be a bit of a bloodbath.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of everyone would have had that. Liverpool 2, Burnley 0. Full Premier League debut for 18-year-old Harvey Elliott. Now, Liverpool fans have been singing his praises.
Especially my man from COP TV. Alex, always raving about Harvey Elliott. Sometimes I don't know if it's banter or it's not.
No, they are dead. I mean, Liverpool fans don't joke. They're dead serious when they talk about their squad.
But he's here now. He's arrived.
He's here. I mean, there was lots of people. They were saying, who do you prefer, Harvey Elliott or Phil Foden? I was like, come on, you can't.
Is that all the comparison now?
Yeah.
Well, they are both young. They are both very talented.
They are very young, but I think that still Phil Foden. I think
more proven at this point.
Yeah, way more proven. Yeah. But it's good. We love seeing youngsters, and I think that there's so many youngsters coming through from Liverpool. Yeah. Harvey Elliott, Nat Phillips, another one that springs to mind. Curtis Jones. There's a lot that it's
got Curtis Jones in my ultimate fan.
There we go. Ultimate fan. But there's a lot of players that it's promising, isn't it? And we like to see youth coming through, homegrown talent. That's kind of what we want.
Yeah. That's the project that everyone wants and dreams of.
Look, but
the young players. But other teams are doing. No, yeah, of course. But there's teams that actually have that and it's working.
Yeah.
Because they have those players that are available to come off the bench. Whereas other teams, not naming any names, to use their young players to actually be the actual star players.
I would argue that Emile Smith-Rowe and Saka are your star players.
Well, they are. They've got no choice.
Exactly.
They've got no choice.
A lot of weight on those shoulders.
Yeah.
Klopp was unhappy with the new guidelines on letting the game flow. Burnley take a very physical approach, which we know they do. I mean, I'm quite happy for the new rules. I think that was Jurgen Klopp kind of putting out the guidelines that he's like not happy with the physicality of it.
Really? But it's always going to be physical against Burnley.
Oh, of course it is. I mean, that's the way that Sean Dyche teams play. Chris Wood up front, very physical, and things like that. But I think that's just Klopp being Klopp and putting the excuses out.
He's very charismatic. He's going to say. He's always going to have a word on something, isn't he?
Of course he is. Thoughts on Burnley? Obviously, no goals. Did they kind of? I think they gave it a good go at Liverpool. I don't think they did too badly. I think, it could have been.
I think they defended well.
Yeah.
I know that you're bringing up the fact that no goals, but they defended well because there was more chances for Liverpool to score towards the end of the game. Mane's goal, by the way.
So good.
Oh, the finish on that.
And of course, Jota again. Second week running.
And then my man predicted it as he was watching it.
Did he?
Oh, you wasn't here on the Don Bobby watch along.
No, I wasn't here.
He was like, Simicast is going to put this in. Josh is going to go in a header. I can't do accent. Let me not offend no one. Let me not. And literally, that's what happened. Huh?
Was it Doyle?
Yeah. He predicted it before it happened. And it's exactly what happened.
And again, a really good game again for Simicast as well.
Yeah,
looking good.
I know.
2 starts, really good. Brighton 2, Watford 0. I see so many people disrespecting Brighton, and I'm a big fan of Brighton.
Are you?
Potter. I am. I really like
How come?
I like Potter ball. Like, it's good.
Okay, Graham Potter.
I think he plays good football, and I think that they have a lot of restraints, and I think the fact they've held on to Basuma is massive.
It is a big deal. And that, was it the first or second goal, which Basuma created pretty much, where he came in from behind. They tried to play up on the back. He nicked the ball.
Good player. Massive.
And more plays on it. Finished.
And there we go. And my whole thing with Brighton is if they could put the ball in the back of the net, they would have a good season, because that's the only thing that let them down. And so far so good.
Yeah.
Best start to the Premier League ever. That's 2 wins and 2. So that's looking quite promising. Are you not a fan of Graham Potter?
No, yeah, I do like Brighton. I just obviously as an Arsenal fan, the times we've come up against them recently hasn't been the best.
Yeah, it hasn't been good.
Leno got in. Yeah, like there's so many things that's happened. The Leno injury, but then again it gave us Martinez for the short time we had him as a first team starter.
Exactly. But, Watford, on the other hand, again, they won the first game. This game they lost. Where do you see Watford?
Like in finishing?
Yeah,
in the
like
league?
I don't back Watford that much. Me and Flex spoke about it on the preview the other day, and he's a big fan of Watford. And I just
is he?
He is, and I just don't back Watford that much.
It's hard to gauge what they will do, but I'm still proud of them that the fact they've managed to keep on to key players when they were originally in the Premier League a couple of years ago, and they dropped back down.
Are you thinking about Sarr and
Ismail
things like that?
The fact that I thought he would have been gone.
Yeah.
I know
very, very
was
talented.
Gone, but like, do you know what I mean? They managed to keep on to some players, Troy Deeney as well and whatnot, but it's hard to gauge where they will finish. I would say 17th, 18th, you know.
I think that they're one of those sides that will literally still kind of be around that top zone. I know people that, you know, don't
I'm sure
agree
people
with
are
me.
really...
Flex doesn't agree with me.
I'm sure people are really betting for them to be back in relegation at the end of the season.
100%.
But I think, you know, depending... It's hard to say so early on.
Yeah.
But they could just about survive.
No, I totally agree. Any comments before we proceed?
Let's have a look. Someone said, do the accent, Pippa. No, because I'm not here to offend anyone. Statman says, Emile Smith-Rowe isn't as good as Arsenal fans go on. Same was Martinelli as far compared to Greenwood.
How did Martinelli do yesterday?
He was okay.
Yeah.
Nothing to write home about. But the runs he created, he was doing as well as he could against the defence he had. Okay. As well as he possibly could.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't...
It's still a lot, 20 years old.
Thimble says, Elliot is a special talent since making his Liverpool FC debut. And TTID, oh God, is that one of your people?
That'll be Until I Die.
I just realised when I said it. Says Foden is great. I hope he doesn't get caught up in the nightlife too much like Ardele did. Is that what the problem was with?
I think there's a lot of things that go on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
A lot of
young footballers, big salaries.
Big salaries, big.
It's easy to
big
get
nights
distracted.
out. You know, we've all been there. Yeah. Let's talk about Aston Villa versus Newcastle. I mean, Danny Ings just proving why. For me, it's like the transfer of the window.
Oh my gosh, he can't be stopped, can he?
No.
I questioned why he went to Aston Villa, and I was questioning whether the fact that he's gone to a new team, slightly different style of play, whether that would affect his tally of goals.
Clearly not.
But he scored, and what a way to score.
What a goal that was.
Who
what a way to
scores like that
yourself.
Yeah, who scores like that for their first...
So good. And, you know, in front of the Villa fans, what a way to introduce yourself with that overhead kick. It was unbelievable. Newcastle, again, not off to a good start. It's going to be a long season.
It's such a shame for them because they don't play bad.
Yeah. Well, they don't play well.
Yeah, people beg to differ with that statement, but they don't play terrible. They have chances. Callum Wilson had a chance, the perfect turn he did to get out and take a shot, and he should have finished that. What
do you think the problem is then at Newcastle? Because we know that they can get themselves out of it, because they do tend to do it the last 10 games. I say this every time we talk about Newcastle.
Survival.
The last 10 games, they literally go full force and they get themselves out of it. But there obviously is something that is wrong. So is it Steve Bruce or is it in general?
I couldn't put my finger on it, because it could be, there's so many things wrong with Newcastle. From the owner down to management, and Newcastle fans will tell you this, there's always a problem. Maybe it's just the culture of the club. Yeah. Maybe there's not big enough ambitions, and the owner, like, you know, the owner's greedy and all these other things the fans say about the owner. It could just all trickle down to the team. Because they've got decent players.
I think they've got decent players.
I think Callum Wilson was a great signing for them as well.
St. Maxim as well. They've got decent players. It's just, I think, putting it, you know, Jamal Lascelles is a good defender. I think it's just the case of actually believing. Believing they can do something. Leeds 2, Everton 2. That
What
was
game?
That was good.
Oh, some tasty goals as well.
That was a good game. And what a way to go back to Ellen Road after all those years in the Championship.
Yeah.
I mean, what a return. It was a thriller. The fans were back. There was 34 shots in total in that game.
Damn, that many.
Rafinha rescued the point.
Oh, that goal. That's
it was
the goal.
so good.
Oh,
it was really tasty.
I feel like, I can't remember who laid it back to him. I don't think he was expecting Rafinha to take a shot.
No, I don't think he was.
I thought they were just going to toy around the box and try and work their way into a goal. But he said, F this, I'm taking a shot. And what a goal it was.
Really good goal and a good point for Leeds. Damari Gray.
Shame about the celebration.
I know, the knee slide was not fantastic.
I feel like the adrenaline got too much and you can't believe he actually scored the goal.
Yeah.
And that's another goal I didn't expect he was going to take a shot there.
But I think this was a good move for Damari Gray.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him, I think it was actually at Brentford when he was playing for Birmingham before
We're talking way back then.
way back. And I remember thinking he's quite a good talent. And then he went to Leicester, I think, the following season.
Yeah, he did really well at Leicester.
He did really well, but I think that, again, you just kind of get lost.
Forgotten about,
a little bit forgotten about. So I think the move to Everton has been really good for him.
And to get a goal as well.
Yeah, just needs to work on that knee slide. But apart from that, all good. And Crystal Palace 0, Brentford 0. A good point shared.
Could this be a new rivalry in London, do you reckon? Brentford, Crystal Palace?
It could be. I mean, look, we know Crystal Palace are in a big transition. Vieira at the helm.
Yeah.
How did you feel Palace looked?
They look like Palace. They look slightly. Palace have looked better, in other words.
Yeah.
They've looked better, and I was expecting more of a performance. And looking at the two teams, as well as Brentford did in their first game of the season, I was expecting the Palace win, and I was expecting a lot more goals.
Yeah.
And I was expecting, I've forgotten his name, ex-Liverpool up front, tall. Wow.
Benteke.
I was expecting him to he hasn't found form for such a long time.
Yeah, but I think that Benteke is a bit of a myth in the fact that he's so big and large, and you know, I haven't seen him have form since he was at Aston Villa.
Like, it's never been like a good run of form.
No, exactly.
He has moments, and I feel like, as harsh as this sounds, he's very lucky to still be playing Premier League football. He's had very good clubs and very good opportunities. And since he's been to Palace, I haven't seen him just...
And also, Will Zaha's not really hitting the heights either at the moment. I know we're only 2 games in, not trying to be that harsh.
I know.
But I think there's, you know, a lot still to be said. But it's a good point. It's Vieira's first point. There we go. That's positive.
There you go.
Can take.
1 point. More points than Arsenal.
There we go. And Brentford again, you know, looked good.
They did look good.
They
had good chances as well. Ivan Toney looks like he can bully players, and it's just unfortunate that both teams didn't manage to score. But I think it's a fair result for the performance.
And David Raya, I think, was very good again as well. Of course, tonight we've got West Ham versus Leicester.
That should be a good game.
That should be.
I'm expecting goals in that.
I think there'll be goals.
I'm expecting like a 4-2. I know it sounds mad. I'm expecting goals.
I think it might be 2-2.
Okay.
But again, West Ham back with fans at the Olympic Stadium. The thing is with the West Ham fans, I think they'll be very excited. They remind me a bit of Arsenal fans.
What?
They do.
What's going on here?
I'm sorry, they do. I think that again, like they'll go in, they'll be very excited. But I think that if they don't see what they want to see, I think they can turn quite quickly.
Wow.
What? I'm just saying. That wasn't biased. But look, they had a fantastic season, last year, and I think they're going to be looking to build on that. David Moyes has kind of proved everyone wrong, all the critics, who said that he wasn't a great manager. I think he's gone back there and done a really, really good job. And of course, we all know how highly we all rate Leicester.
Yeah.
What are we looking for in this game tonight?
Goals galore. Goals galore.
Any signings you got your eye on? Are you looking at Patson Daka?
What signings to bring to Arsenal?
No.
Oh, what players? I was going to say what? Any players that I think
you tonight?
I think Antonio will have a good game. Ben Rama again.
Yep.
In terms of Leicester,
I want to see
anyone's game.
I really want to see Patson Daka starting, and I really want to see him get off the mark.
So he can start tonight?
I don't know, but I don't see why not. I mean, if he's fit. The signing was done pretty early on in the window, so for me, I kind of want to see him start, see what he's about.
You don't start now, when will you start? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or at least we'll get a feature.
Exactly, and of course, Harvey Barnes has also signed that new contract. That is the player. He's a really
I was so gutted for him missing out on the Euros. That's if he would have made the squad anyway, but the fact that he didn't have a standard chance with the injury.
I think it's one to look for the World Cup, but key players I'm looking forward to seeing is definitely those ones.
Yeah.
I think we're going to head over to Team of the Week now.
Ooh. Have I forgotten who I've put in?
I know. I think we need a reminder. I think we'll put on there. You can.
Do you know? Actually, no, I haven't forgotten, because when I obviously messaged Abbi, and I was rolling my eyes after I said the name, because obviously he started the goalkeeper, and I was like, Lloris, biggest roll of eyes ever. But I have to be.
You have to be honest. Yeah. I'm just trying to find your team. All right, go on. If you can find yours, because I've got a mixed match.
Okay, let's go. 1 second. It's just the one team. We came together.
Oh, we are doing the one team now. Okay, well, I've got.
But we had very similar players.
We did.
I was being very unbiased.
Okay, all right. So we came to the conclusion that we did Lloris in goal, Reece James, Shane Duffy, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and we had Tyrone Mings in there as well. I think we felt with the clean sheet for Aston Villa. That
was done really well.
Yeah, really good. We need to give credit where it's due. We had Basuma, Dele Alli. Actually, Pippa went.
I didn't agree with that.
Pippa went for Son, and I just felt that we should give credit to Dele Alli.
Wow,
2 games.
both scored a penalty.
Goal. Got
Fair
the
enough.
penalty, got the goal, and ran. And you know, like I said,
Fair enough.
worked really hard for the team. We put Jota in there
Yeah,
again.
of course.
He was we missed out on him last week, really, when we probably should have put him in. Rafinha for that goal. We had Lukaku up front and Danny Ings.
I mean, who else would put up front after that weekend?
Pretty good team, don't you?
Very good team. I mean, I'm sure someone in the comments will beg to differ. They'll be like, why is Alonso not in there? Why is, I don't know, who else? There was some other good, really
Alonso
good
was,
performances.
I actually questioned Azpilicueta. Otherwise it was just going to be.
You could have put the whole Chelsea
It
squad
was
in there, to be fair.
again David Raya in goal.
Yeah.
I thought obviously we put Shane Duffy in. I thought he was outstanding for Brighton.
Yeah.
But it's good. I think there's a lot of choice.
Oh, I have to say, where's Mason Greenwood? I know he scored a goal
Correct.
too.
Look, Mason
it wasn't the greatest goal, but it's a goal.
And the thing is, when you're only picking 11, it's very difficult when you look at that. Mason Greenwood was another good shout.
Yeah.
Make sure
Alisson.
Make sure you send in your shouts. We had Alisson last week, so we have to keep it fresh.
Switch it up a bit, you know.
Yeah, and you know that's 2 weeks now. Lloris has kept a clean sheet.
Yeah.
1-on-1 with Adama Traore and.
Marlon says Greenwood, Pogba, and Martinez. Is he talking about Emi Martinez? You're talking about Emi Martinez
could have considerably given away a penalty.
Yeah, he
as
did
well.
give away a penalty, so I don't know if he makes it this week, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so I don't think we would have included him in that.
Yeah.
But send them through, guys. Send through any that you wanted to see in your team of the week.
That's true, actually. Actually, next time, I think we should do 2 separate ones.
You want to
because
do 2
somebody
separate?
said no Man City players, and I had Man City players in defence.
You had Ruben Diaz in. We had Ruben Diaz in last week. We can't be doing
but
City
he did well again this week.
I know, but if we keep picking the same people every single week.
Man City did well. It could have literally just been Man City, Chelsea, and Aston Villa players.
Exactly, and Brighton.
And Ings. Yeah, well, Aston Villa, yeah.
Well, there you go. We have to keep it fresh.
Okay.
Any more comments in there?
Let's have a look. Lloris should be in there. He was in there.
He was in there.
DVD says no Man City players. And Francisco says Gabriel Jesus deserves to be there ahead of Rafinha. That's fair point.
Okay, it's a good shout. It's a good shout.
But they were both very good. Someone says, stand your ground, Abby. Pippa's just jealous of Spurs at this stage. I'm jealous of every team at this moment because we are bottom of the table, if you haven't noticed.
We should make a bet on how long Arsenal will stay
in
the relegation zone.
I'm trying to keep my sanity for as long as possible. Thank you very much.
Well, honestly, I think I just can't wait to do this next week after that Manchester City game.
I might not come back for Manchester.
I think it might be wise.
I might not come back. You might not see me. If it's like a bloodbath, I might just take a couple weeks off.
It won't be a bloodbath. It won't be.
It probably will.
But thank you so much for joining us, guys. And we've got to do the Ultimate Fan again. Again, we've got to do that. But again, we have told you it is on the Fantasy Football app with a twist, and you get to play 6 players from your opening pack, and it's random. You get to play up to gold cards, and if you subscribe, you can get gold packs and win cash prizes.
Oh, so is this your one?
Every single week.
Shane Duffy,
I think we've got. We went through this before.
Webster, Traore, Chris Wood, and your gold is Kai Havertz.
I don't have a copy of yours.
Oh, so I can see it on the screen.
You can see it. I don't have it.
Lovely. You've got a better team than me, definitely. And H says, Pippa, read my comment. I've read it now. I'm so happy. But you've got a really good team there.
I have got a really good team, but we'll have to see. I mean, there were some more that popped in before when I logged on, so I think we get new ones every week.
I want to see everyone else's teams. Make sure you get on the app and open your packs, because pack openings are so exciting.
Is that what?
It's exciting.
It's the best part of your week, right?
Well, not for me, because obviously I'll get excited seeing like a Lukaku, and I shouldn't be excited seeing Lukaku as an Arsenal fan.
That's true.
If I had him in my pack, I'll be like, oh,
yeah, but you don't know what this week could hold.
Yeah, it's true.
You don't know, and that's the best
Saka hat trick, maybe.
That is
I shouldn't laugh. Saka hat trick.
But that is the best thing about fantasy football. You just don't know who you're going to get.
Yeah,
and that's what's so exciting about having the pack. Because you don't have to pick it yourself.
Exactly.
So yeah, make sure you subscribe, guys, and we will see you. I will see you on Wednesday or Thursday for the preview show, and we'll be back next week with your review. Have a great week.